Okay. It looks like we lost two students today, so they are not going to be able to join.
Okay. For yesterday, I think we talked about the field level security.
Was it field level or record level?
Record level, sorry, record level.
Okay.
I'm trying to check my notes.
Yeah. And like, if we talk about, let me share my screen. When we talk about record level security, what kind of security you guys remember?
OWD.
Okay, one of them is OWD.
Yeah.
Basically, we mentioned about the four main rules: OWD, role hierarchies, sharing rules, manual sharing, and you mentioned, as the sequence shows up right now, Apex sharing teams. Technically, it's included for that, but they are not asking usually.
Okay, so what do you guys remember about the OWD? Like, what kind of values we can pick while we are assigning any OWD, and how can you define the OWD?
We're going to sharing settings and able to reach out each object details. It has basically basically 5, but overall the 13 rules be able to decide on OWD for public edit, public delete, public read, and one more thing. You generally, I remember, and then I have to go on my organization to see what I have.
Okay, so if you want, I can stop sharing. You can share your screen.
Sure, I don't mind. Let me try to log in. Sharing settings.
Okay.
On sharing settings, each object, overall he'll mention us with the OWD defaults. Technically, we have 13 rules, let's say rules, we able to control, public, private, something.
Public read only.
Yeah. For private options, public read only, public read and write, depends for the object. So you will check probably the user, no.
Public read, write, and transfer.
Yeah, the transfer one of those.
Yes.
Trying to find out which one is which one. But overall, we talk about those parts from here. We talk about the grant access, this clickable button, the standard objects, standard objects not able to update for grant access, but the custom objects giving us a chance to give the grant access and the details, and they all located all the way down over here. Those are our custom objects: candidate, employment website, hospital, job application, position. Those are able to give grant access over now.
Okay, so when we give any grant access, like what was happening?
Grant access using through the hierarchy. If we lock the grant access, so basically means on position object, you don't have grant access. If we don't have grant access, no matter what, hierarchies block, and they are not able to deep in those object details.
What do you mean? For example, if you have a public on the OWD,
Like hospital.
okay. So if you just disable that grant access using the hierarchies,
Mhm.
are they gonna be able to see the records?
No. For example, I'm the manager, and I already blocked this for the CFO. They are not gonna see the details.
Okay, let me correct some confusion here. This is like while I was describing the OWD, I mentioned it is restricting the access, right?
Correct.
And while it is restricting, I said it looks like a profile. And
Mhm.
for the others, like we counted like at least 4 record level security, right? OWD, role hierarchies, sharing rules,
Manual
manual
sharing.
So the other sharings, they are sharing. Like they are like permission set. They are giving extra permission. So if we are trying to give extra permission, if the value inside the OWD is private, when we check or when we enable that grant access using the hierarchies checkbox, we are giving the permission for the hierarchical upper level positions to see the lower level positions records.
When we click it.
When we click it, yes. So, for example, if we just talk about the specific this screen, so according to that, position has a private OWD, right? Because if you scroll up, you are inside the OWD right now.
Yes.
Since for the position object, OW is private, normally they cannot see it, right? Nobody can
Right.
see it. But if we make this checkbox checked
Like that.
right there, then they are gonna be able to see
The upper higher rows, right?
upper higher, yeah, higher roles, or they are gonna be able to see the lower roles records.
Okay.
But if you have already public on the OWD setting, like
the hospital.
hospital, what you are doing in OWD, you are making public already. So everybody can see that.
Right.
So it's not gonna make any sense when you give extra permission for that, because anyway, it's already public. You are not giving anything extra. Think about like the permission set. When do we use the permission set? If the profile is restricted and say Tunç has a same profile with me, but I would like to give him extra permissions. At that point, I'm using the permission sets, right?
Right.
In this case, about the sharings, if my OWD is so restricted and I would like to give extra permission, then we are using the sharing rules, like role hierarchy, including the role hierarchy. So if I share my screen now, let me do this. You guys remember this one, right?
Yes.
We said OWD is the like baseline or the bottom line, which user can access for their records on. We are just talking about the record level. In the record level security, this is the bottom line, which means you cannot restrict more than OWD. OWD, you can restrict more if you would like to give extra permission for that specific record. Then you can give it with the role hierarchies, or you can use the sharing rules, or you can use the manual sharing. If you check, this one says the visibility will be open up. So if it is so restricted inside the OWD, you can still give extra permission to make it wider when you go up. That's why you can do that with the role hierarchy, sharing rules, and manual sharing. But this is like your profile. This is restricting. What are the values for this? Public read only,
Read, write.
Read and write
read, write,
and access.
and transfer.
Transfer, sorry.
If you just count these four, it is fine. But normally it has like 13 different values here. So what is the most restricted one? If you make it private, this is the most restricted. When you make it private, only the owner of the record can reach that record. Except the owner, they are not going to be able to see that record. But if we click that checkbox and grant the access for this, using the role hierarchies, like using the hierarchies, it is written on that checkbox. I don't have that screen right now. But normally this checkbox, it is already default enabled for the standard users, which means even if you make OWD private for the account, high-level users, I'm gonna say high-level users, say CEO, he's gonna see the record of the manager. When he can see this, when that checkbox is checked, enabled. If this checkbox is not checked, like it is just possible for the custom objects, right? Because for the standard, it is already enabled. This is standard object.
We need to be owner that records, right?
Yes. For the like custom objects, if this checkbox is not checked and OWD is private, then he cannot see this. Does it make sense?
Could you show us on the organization? Just wanted to, the recap.
Okay, so let me open up. Loading to Salesforce. So over here. All right. Let me get rid of this pencil. Pairing settings. Okay.
For checking this detail, we need to log in incognito window, right?
If you are gonna apply this change
Mhm.
for the second user, then you need to log in as that user.
Okay.
So let me see here. As you see, when I say edit, these are already checked, right? So if we are talking about this public, this is already public, so they can reach it. But even if it will be private, say Tunç has this one account record, right? And OWD setting is private. Then what's gonna happen? Even if it is private, they can see Tunç records if they have a high level position in the org. When you come to the custom, so say position is custom, right? And yesterday, what we did, Tunç, I believe we changed the position to private and we unchecked this one.
Yes.
So when it was unchecked, which means there is no grant access for the using the hierarchies, the hierarchical higher person, which is say CEO again, he cannot see the record of manager. We have an option for this. Why? Because this is custom object. But if it is any one of the standard object, we don't have any chance to update these.
Okay.
What does it mean? If it is a standard object, hierarchical higher person can always see the lower person's records. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm just like trying to select my words while I'm explaining because it is really like complicated sometimes. So we talk about these are, and then we know how to go to OWD. These are the 13 types. And can we change the standard objects grant using access? No, we
No.
cannot. There is a way to bypass it, but I don't remember. We talk about the role hierarchy. We talk about the grant using hierarchies here. And okay, while I'm showing that, I'm gonna show you guys something different than, it's not related to the data security stuff. I don't know why, but I cannot see on the screen. Just give me a second. Okay. There is a, like, this is official Salesforce website. So there is something about the grant login access. This is something different. Okay, this is not related to the data security, but the names are looking like each other. That's why I just wanted to share. So according to this one, it says, if you go to your user and say, this is my system admin user, right? When I click over the name of the user, it's taking me to the user detail page. And then, actually, it doesn't supposed to be this one, I believe. Weird. Because, okay, forget about this. I'm trying to reach my user from here. When I come to the settings from my avatar, if I come here, I can see my user details. And then there is an option here, grant account login access. What does it mean? When you click on this one, this is up to you. Like while you are working as a system admin and you couldn't figure that out something and you need some support from the Salesforce itself, right? So it is possible they would like to log in to your org. In that way, you can open this one, okay? You can describe the time, like for 1 week or 3 days only 1 day, okay? When you click on this and save it, they are gonna be able to access your org. This is something system admins needs to know. But this is not related to the data security. One more thing I would like to share, and it is gonna be, if you write down here, login, there are some login access policies. So you can just, for the Salesforce support, you can make them available, or you can just make it available for the administrators. Users with the manage users permission enabled on their profile are considered administrators. Okay, there is another checkbox here. It says administrators can log in as any user. If I go back, or let me duplicate this. If I go to my users, I want you guys to go to the users also in your org. Did you notice that like I have an option to log in? Do you guys have that?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
Yeah, please. Because what's gonna happen while you are working as a system admin, or like even if you are working as a Salesforce
Admin.
developer, so sometimes you need to log in to see what user can see, because they are gonna describe you some like problems or issues. They are gonna try to describe it to you, but you are never gonna understand it because they are not gonna use any sales terms, right? That's why like they are gonna try to like explain it to you their own way, and most of the time you are not gonna understand what they are talking about. That's why you are gonna need it to log in as that user. So you can do that when you click on this, their name and login. Or if you just make that option enabled, then you can see the login option here. So how you can reach here? Let me make it enabled. I saved. I came to my users and refresh it. I cannot see that login option. But if I come here, if I type here login access policies, then when I check this checkbox enabled, I can see that login option here. No, Just a second.
That
Change,
worked.
saved.
Yeah, I have 3 login
It should,
options.
I
This
don't know.
is something new for today. Yeah,
There are a bunch of new things like this.
yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, it is enabled. Save it. Now it's supposed to reflect here. Yes. Okay, but it is not gonna give you any login option for the deactivated users. These are deactivated. That's why it's not giving me any. Okay, I just wanted to share these are also. And let us continue. We talk about the role hierarchies. The next thing we are going to talk about the sharing rules. Okay. So let me make this like that. Okay. Sharing rules are automatic, I am saying, because we are gonna see something different later on. Exceptions to the OWDs for a particular group of user or maybe only one user. When you apply these sharing rules, they can reach the records which they don't own, or normally they cannot see it. So what does it mean? It means this thing should be, OWD should be private, for example. And then you need to give a sharing rule for one of the user. Since it is private, normally they should not be able to see that, but they are going to be able to see that. Does it make sense? Or do you guys want to try it? All right.
We can try. Or
Okay, so let me exit this. Okay, say we are going to do sharing rules. Sharing settings, sorry. Sometimes it is confusing. And find one of the custom objects which we work. Say position again. Inside the position, just make it like private. Okay. And save it. How can we reach the sharing rules? They are just below the OWDs. Sharing rules are separated for each and every object. So if we are talking about the custom objects, they should be like underneath the standard objects. So don't confuse, like it is not going in an alphabetic order. Okay, where is my position? Right here. I already have one position sharing rule, okay? And Fortune Tech made a OWD update for positions today. Okay, it's just claiming.
we got an email.
Since I changed it, but I didn't
Uh,
save it, I believe. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I saved that. And I have a sharing rule for position. If I create another new one, okay, and I can give a name, then I can select the rule type. So if I'm looking based on the owner, I can select this one, or maybe I can give a criteria to share this record. For example, if this apex field equals to true or false, let me see where it is pop up right here. If this is true, then I would like to share it. If it is false, it's not gonna share in this condition. But if you do it based on the record owner, then you can select which records to be shared with, like owned by the member of group records or roles, or according to the roles and subordinates. If it is a public group, you can select the public group from here. If it is according to the role, so you can say, I would like to share the managers or marketing team users records on, because the owner is this one. And select users to share with. So in here, you are selecting who would like to share the record according to their role or according to public group, according to subordinates. Then in here, on the step 4, you are selecting with whom, like he's gonna share the, let me draw it. I thought you guys can see my, but you cannot. In here, we are selecting who is going to share or who will share. I'm saying who because we selected here record owner. In step 4, we are describing, we are gonna share with whom. So it can be public group again. It can be any roles or subordinates. And while you are giving any sharing rule, you are selecting the level of access. What kind of access you would like to share with them. So you can make it like read only or read write. If you make it read only, they can only see, since it is private, but I want them to see at least, I can give the read only. But since my position object records are private according to the OWD, but I would like to give them read write. But I am giving this to some users, I should say, because it can be a public group. What does public group means? For example, I am describing like 10 users only in my organization. Only that 10 users can see that or edit that if I make it read and write. But if I just go by the roles, which means if I choose the roles from here, okay, whatever marketing team records we have, it is going to be shared with the installation and repair services. According to their role, whoever has installation and repair service role, then they are gonna be able to edit marketing team records. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
according to requirement, right?
Yes. So where we can see all this role stuff, because that is important. When we go to the user, any user, while we are creating or setting up any user, we are giving a role here, right? This is the one. So this role is, that's why it is important. Sharing about the records. So any question on this sharing rule?
No.
If you notice that I am not giving any like one by one user. I am just doing this according to the public groups, roles and subordinates. Or I can do this one according to the criteria, which I'm gonna describe here. It is up to you. So if we come back to my, if you guys don't have any question, then I am gonna come back to my, let's clear this. I'm gonna come back to this one. Which one we are talking about? This, right? If I were you guys, I can draw something, okay? For the sharing rules, I can write it down like this. Based on I'm not gonna write everything down. Based on owner and based on, what was the other one? Criteria. I can draw something like this. Then I can understand, oh, I was be able to go and underneath the OWD, I can find the sharing rules, find the object, then add new one. When I go there, it is gonna ask me any name for the sharing rule. Then I can do this based on the owners or based on the criteria. If I choose the owner, then I can draw another 3 line here. I'm just trying to draw up because you can see, otherwise in the black screen, you are not gonna be able to. So I can write down here according to the roles, public groups, and here roles and subordinates. So according to this, I can share my records. And what did I say? This is an automatic process, which means I'm not describing any specific user here. I am just saying if they have this role in this company, their records should be able to seen or editing from this team or this public group to this public group or this public group to this role. And what kind of access level we have? Read only, retry. So if I were you guys also, why I cannot? I can put here one more thing. I can say access level. then I can make it read, write. These are the access levels for the sharing rule. In that way, if you have this picture, you can take some small notes for the others also. If they are going to ask you something about the data security, and if they are planning to ask something, like most probably it is gonna be this one. This is the bottom line. You are restricting here. The other three, you are giving a permission. Think about that way. So what about the role hierarchy? Is it like something automatically it is happening, or like do you need anything manually each and every time?
Manually, I think.
No.
I think it was automatically, as you
Yeah,
mentioned.
because we are only doing this, maybe it is
Through the
already
roles.
there. After then, automatically it is allowing the higher level person to see the lower level
But
person.
what about the custom objects, custom records?
For the custom objects, you
Yeah,
are just checking this checkbox, that's it.
yeah.
It is happening itself. On the sharing rule, you are just selecting what you want to do. You are not giving this one like to somebody manually. You are just creating this one, and then you are just waiting. So this is also automatic.
Okay. I thought if we click the checkbox, it
No,
means
yeah.
okay
No.
for custom creations. Okay.
Okay, let's talk about where we were. Get rid of this. And we talked about role hierarchy. Okay, we were here. One more thing about the sharing rules. This is always from senior to junior, which means on the role hierarchy, you were doing like, if you don't check that checkbox, the upper level person, they cannot see your records, right?
Yes.
In here, you can do this from only senior to junior. Normally what's happening, junior cannot see the senior's record, right?
Can you repeat again?
When I say junior, I meant like low-level person in the organization.
Okay.
Let me...
Like standard user?
No. Think about the hierarchy.
The CEO is senior. We can think.
Like salesperson and the manager.
Yes. Or you can think about like, I'm giving the CEO because he's the top level, right?
Yeah.
So think about the CEO. Okay. If CEO is here, and the manager is here, you can use the sharing rules only from seniors to juniors. I'm gonna say senior here, and this is gonna be junior. It is like role hierarchies. Think about that way. Because what you are doing, you are sharing your record with the below one. Because this guy, high level guy, he can already see the junior's record if
Correct.
that thing is checked. So what we are doing here is just this one. We are sharing the senior's records to junior.
Got it. Like the PTO time, for example, manager willing to go to vacation and gonna take a couple of weeks break. At that
That's
time,
correct. That's a good example. Yes.
got it. Got it.
So
At that,
yeah, for example, he's the only one who approved the PTOs, right?
yeah.
So if this place is empty, this position is empty right now, and this guy and this guy, they would like to go to the PTO. Without his approval, they are not going to be able to. Then what's happening? This guy, this is the senior one, this is the manager, this is the Mevlut. Okay, he's the lowest guy here. So Mevlut needs to go to the PTO. He fill out the form, he needs an approval from him. But this guy is out of office. Before he go to the out of office, he's doing this sharing rules for this manager. Then manager can do Mevlut's PTO. And Mevlut will be happy. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, good. While you are working, just try to make everybody happy. So sharing rules, they are only used to give additional users to access. So this is like permission set, right? You are giving extra. Sharing rules cannot be restricted than OWDs because OWD is the bottom line here. Sharing rules are here, and the last one is manual sharing. This is manual, this is sharing, this is role hierarchy, this is OWD. So none of the record level security can restrict more than OWD. This is the more restricted one.
Yesterday I was about to give an example for OWD is Mahmut Hoca for the record level security. We can think about that like
Yeah.
that.
But if you just try to make it like with the person,
Yeah,
it will be wrong because OWD is not related to the hierarchy.
person. Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
like function.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of access we can give with the sharing rules? I need to delete this one because this is the same thing with read write. So only read or read write. If you keep that picture and take some note over that, it is gonna remind you everything. All right, so let's continue. There are different type of sharing rules, okay? And if we come back to this sharing rules, we were just trying to do for the position sharing rule, right? I'm just canceling this and I'm just editing my position. What was it before? Read only, I believe. Let me make it read right. If you come to the sharing rules, I want you guys to take a note also, like how you can reach the sharing rules. Like for the OWD, you need to come to the sharing settings, right? For the grant access, using hierarchies, sharing settings, same thing. But if you're confused, for example, yesterday I was looking this one somewhere else under the profile or something. No, we are just talking about the record level and everything about the record level under here, sharing settings. OWD is here, sharing rules are here, like grant access here for the role hierarchy. These are the sharing rules. We said there are different type of sharing rules, right? You can just think about the standard objects, and if somebody asks you, you can just count a few of them. Say contact, account, opportunity, case. These are the 4 major standard objects, and they all have sharing rules. Okay, no need to count all of them, but just remember the standard big objects which we have. You can just count them. Right, so I think there are a couple questions here, so let me ask you guys. Can we use the sharing rules to restrict data access?
So if it's a standard object, it's already given the grant access, so it means no.
No. We are not talking about the grant access. We are all talking about, can we use sharing rules to restrict the access?
No,
No, right?
no.
Because
It
what
couldn't
we
be bigger
say-
than the OWD.
only OWD is restricting. These are opening up. They are giving more permission. So what did I say? You can think about this one like a
Restricted.
profile.
Yeah.
And these are like a permission set. But not exactly, because they are different level securities. Because permission sets and profiles, it's all about the object level security. These are all about the record level security, but inside the record level security, you can think about like, this guy is like a profile. These are like permission set. Why permission set? Because permission set never restrict. It always try to give more access. Opening up. Same thing is happening here, opening up. If you just, that's why instead of like drawing this like this, they draw this one opposite. OWD is here, the others are getting wider. All right, so let me check, is there any question I have here? Is it possible to create a sharing rule for detail object?
So detail object is a child object. So if we would like to share a rule, we have to give sharing rule to master object.
Why?
Because if we are not able to see details on master, we could possibly restrict to see child object details.
Which means we can use the sharing rules On the parent or child object?
On the parent.
The answer is correct, but how do you define it? It is kind of out of the way.
Sixth sense, let's say.
Yeah, so let's look at here again. On the sharing settings, what we are doing for the sharing rules, whatever was restricted inside the OWD, we are trying to give more access for that, right?
Correct.
So if you think about the like related to object, like account and contact, say parent is account and child is contact. When we come to the contact here, if you guys remember, it was saying like, for example, order. It says controlled by parent or like whatever, this one, controlled by parent, which means these records, if they have a relationship with this guy, they don't have the account owner. Actual owner is the parent. That's why they can control this child object. So we are just talking about the record level. Don't confuse it. So if you remember, if we have master detail relationship in between, say, like account to asset object, right? Say account is parent, asset is child object. If you remember, we were saying, if we delete the account, this is gonna be gone.
Correct.
What does it mean? That record is controlled by parent. That is why actually record owner is right here. That is what it says here. Let me try to find something. If we go any which object we have relationship with the, it was job posting was junction between
Position and let me go on my schema.
employment. Okay. I believe this one was parent, right? If I check, is there any related? This is no. This one doesn't.
Employment website, job posting, and a position.
Job posting and position. So job posting is the junction.
Junction.
Okay, so OWD test. Let me see, what is this? So job application is child of position, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if I go this record, okay, I'm not going to confuse you guys. I was just checking the owner field if it is empty, but it is not. But it says here, our child record, if there is a relationship between like parent and child object, we cannot create the sharing rule on the child object because it is controlled by the parent. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the manual sharing. So manual sharing, what we are doing is we are just sharing particular records. When I say particular records, maybe only one record. Sharing with the others, but we are doing this one very, very like traditional way. What is that traditional way? If I come back here, can you guys describe me how to do the manual sharing?
From the click down button across triangular next to new opportunity, right? Or
Opportunity. Okay.
on the right,
Okay. You mean this one?
no, I was meaning the previous tab. Let's go back to was the previous tab. Next to position, what was this small tab on the detail? Edit, new contact, and new opportunity. Click down button, the triangular one next to. Click
Okay.
this one. Yeah, the sharing button over there.
So if I say sharing, then what?
I'm gonna decide the user, which user I would like to share this position record. I'm deciding the group or the role or the subordinate.
Yes.
That's the right.
So if you remember, for the sharing rules, we can do only for public group, role or role and subordinates, right?
Correct.
Different than that, on the manual sharing, we can just share with the actual user. So I can just click here and I can just put,
Your second user.
I have Sanjay, right?
Yeah.
I
Your
can
second
just
user.
pick that one.
Correct.
But how am I doing this? I am selecting the actual user. Manually, I am entering here each and every time. But for the sharing rules, when you select that one and save it, automatically it is gonna go on the backside. Manual sharing, you can understand from the name, you should do everything manually. And for the record level, you have same option, like level of access. Read only, read write. But the only difference from the sharing rules, you have the user option here. You can select the actual user. If you would like to share with the public group, yes, you can do that also. When you start typing here, if you have something, it is gonna show you. But when I do this, this is only valid for this particular record only, which is this one. So if I would like to share only this one, number one, I can come here. I cannot do it here. Okay. I need to open that record. Then I can share. What is sharing here, right?
So sharing hierarchy is named hierarchical sharing through that record, like the fortune tag for the organization.
In this case, yeah, we have two users, right?
Yeah,
So
the fortune tag is the organization.
Yes.
It's covering all users, whatever they have as a role or access position.
No. In here, it is just the name of the user.
Name of the user. Okay.
So
That's
there is two
higher than the
Yes.
subject.
because this one has
Administrator.
system admin. This is standard user.
Okay.
Good.
Any question?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. So in here, there is another note. It says manual sharing is available for only OWD is set to private, which means it's supposed to be like private. In that way only, you can share this with the other user. For example, in this case, what we did for the position, we shared the record with Sanjay, right?
Correct.
But it says it is read-write only. So how do we know that? If we come back to our sharing settings, what we selected here on the OWD, it was read-write already. So if I make this one private and I come back to here, did you see the difference?
Yeah.
How it has read-write? It should be some sharing with Sanjay.
Because you manually share.
Yes, like otherwise it should not be read-write because my OWD is
Already is public, private.
Why it is still showing me.
It takes some time to update through the as it given the operation.
Let me see again. Yeah, it is private now. So when it is private for this specific, if I come back and check the sharing, okay. For example, integration user, it has only read only. So which means since it is private, which only system admin has a full access, but this user has a read-only access, user access details. Let's see. Shared with the integration user. Reason for access, like administrator. Position access, it is read-only. So, which means I shared with this guy just for the read-only. But for Sanjay, I gave like read-write. If I come back to this and check the sharing option, can you see? It is already showing me here. If I add it here, what it was for Fortune Tech, it was all position access. For the recruitment manager as a public group, it was read-write. I believe Sanjay user was inside this public group. That's why it has a read-write. So while we are digging into the records, because they are more deep, right? According to the like object level, field level, like they are at the bottom. So sometimes this is gonna confuse, so you can get help sharing hierarchy. And if you would like to see the details, you can go through, or you can just go through the sharing settings whenever you need anything related to the record level security. They are all under the one settings. All right, after saying that, so I need to change this thing again. What do you guys have on the position? Is it read only, read write?
I just made mine with the read and write, but if Ebru can check, be able to make sure what is the exact one.
Actually, I didn't change it. I was just following Mevlüt Bey's screen.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
can you check what was it like default value? We are just trying to save. I think it was
Read and write it was, yeah.
read and write. Okay.
Yeah.
And the grant access is clicked, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. This is repeat for the profile and permission set. Normally, we completed the record level security also. I just wanted to emphasize the importance of the profile and permission set, OWD especially, because if they are going to ask you something from the data security, these are 100%. Because these are important and there are some difference between them, you should know that. If somebody asks you, what is the profile? Like profile is a collection of the settings and permissions. If you just say this is something, this is enough. And then you can explain like this. Profile we are using to restrict what user can see. That is it. When we say settings here, we are talking about the restriction. Okay, so profile restrict what user can see. Permissions, they determine or they define permission sets, they define what user can do. While like studying, just try to make simple sentence for you. Don't try to like memorize like whole paragraph. Just find something for yourself. That's why I colored all this stuff, like what is important here. Why did I underline here? Why it is like italic, the other one is like normal. So settings, or this is for profile. Profile we are using to restrict what user can see. Permission sets we are using to determine what user can do. We are giving more access on the permission sets. We are not doing any restriction. Any question here? Oh, one more difference between profile and permission set. If you have a user, one user can only have one profile, right? But one user can have multiple permission sets. This is another detail.
Got it.
If they ask you the question like this, like one profile can have many users, yes, that's correct. But I am talking about this portion. One user can have only one profile at a time. Let me add it here. But one user can have multiple permission sets. Let me do this one also. Make it italic. And not quite. I don't want to make it red. And sometimes if I am comparing like different things, I am giving them different color. For example, if profile is red, like permission set will be blue. You can see some stuff like that, like this. So in permission sets, we define access level of the user. Generally, we determine what user can do. So instead of like this kind of academic sentences, because of we are like English is our second language, it's gonna be easy if we just use the like simple sentences. What we are trying to explain them, whatever they are asking, if I am like giving them the correct answer, they are gonna be happy. And what we would like to see, happy faces. That's it. It doesn't matter if I use this sentence or this one? For the profile, if they like, what is the common point? Both of them are about the object level security. The difference, if you would like to add more difference between permission sets and profiles, profiles are assigned to the user by the system admin, but for the permission set, you need to create it as a like system admin. These are assigned, but don't try to make this one as a difference. It doesn't make real sense. So no need to confuse you guys. Okay, it was already here. I think that's it from here. Is it possible to restrict the permission for user using the permission set? No. Permission sets are giving more access. That is it. Okay, this can be a little bit tricky. If they ask you something like this, I have a couple more slides, then we are gonna finish this. If a user doesn't have any access to the specific record type, we talked about the record types yesterday. If they don't have access to the specific record type, for example, technical position report type, will they be able to see the record that have the record type? For example, Tunç has a non-technical position record type. Will Tunç be able to see the record of technical position record type? The answer is yes. Why it is yes? Because when they say like it is about the record type, it is just about the visibility. But it is not gonna affect your access. What does it mean? When you cannot see, you cannot create it. But if somebody created a record, you can see it. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we already talked about this field dependencies, controlling fields and dependent fields. What is a user record? This is just, it includes the key information for the user. We call them user record. You can just think about, like when they say user record, you can just think about your settings right here. It has the key information about that user. Record owner. Record owner can be a user or queue. What is queue? For example, if I pick any public group which has 10 users inside, right? This is a queue. Whoever picks that records, whoever like get that record, or if someone from there, if they create any record, that's gonna be the public group's record. While we were explaining about the sharing rules, we said we can pick up the public group and we can say like they can share their records with another public group or any role or roles and subordinates. So record owner can be users or queues. What is the mandatory point for the user and role profile? So when you are creating a user setup, you are just assigning the role also, and the common point for that, it is gonna change according to the profile. So profile. Sometimes they are trying to ask the question like in a weird way. That's why, like, if you don't understand, always ask them, can you repeat again? I didn't get what you are saying. What is the access at the role level? OWD. Governor limits. This is the limits while we are like seeing the Apex. We saw also on the debug screen. So if you are trying to create, or when you run any code, there are right by the Salesforce, we call them governor limits. They are gonna work on the runtime limits. You can just say runtime limits for the Apex. That's it. The other ones, like, they are just trying to make this sentence beautiful. Runtime, like Apex runtime engine to write a scalable and efficient code, right? Each and every code what we are writing, you can say that. I am trying to write a code which should be dynamic, it should be scalable and efficient code. Instead of all these like beautiful sentences, I can just say governor limits are defined by the Salesforce. So they are going to run, I can say like they are runtime limits while we are working on the Apex code. That's it. So with this, we are closing this data security part also. Do you guys have any question? I'm gonna share the question about the data security today, so you can review.
I have a question, Mevlüt Bey. When I was working on Trailhead for about the queues, I don't know how can I spell it.
Yes, please.
Queues, yeah. Actually, I couldn't get that much. What does that mean? Or when I search as a word in my dictionary, in my translation.
No. Don't try to translate everything to Turkish, because sometimes it's not gonna match that.
Yeah.
Way. Because if you check the queue inside the like any dictionary, it's gonna say
Yeah.
like line or order, something like that.
Yeah.
Think about like this. You are trying to give some customer, you are working as a customer rep. I am working as a customer rep, which means when somebody get any issue, they are going to reach us from the one phone number.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
When the phone rings, you can pick it up, or I can pick it up.
Okay.
Queue is a place, there are couple users inside. Okay.
Mhm.
And whoever picks that
Yeah.
report will be their record.
Okay, he's gonna be responsible for
Yes.
that.
Think
Okay.
about that. Who is that?
Okay, for Salesforce.
Yes. This is the
Okay.
example for Salesforce.
Okay.
So
A couple of users.
when you assign to that like group, okay, it is gonna wait on the queue.
Yeah. Okay, it's a some, we can think like it's a some platform. There are a couple of users. They are here. They are reading. They're for taking any urgent responsibility. Which one is available first?
you can think about that way, but sometimes this queue will not be the user. For example, on the Apex side,
Mhm.
you are gonna write a code. Some of the code, like they are gonna go and wait on the queue. Whenever it's time for them, then they are gonna run.
Okay.
Right? So I just gave an example for the user, but you can
Okay.
think this can happen for the code also.
Okay. I understand. Okay, thank you.
So there is a place, some people or some codes, they are waiting, and
In
whenever
the
their
place.
turn, they do their job.
Okay. I understand. Okay, thank you.
Like scheduled flows.
Kind of, but we are gonna see this one on the like batch classes in the Apex.
Got it.
Okay.
They are gonna go and wait in the queue whenever it is their like time, they are gonna run. Not exactly scheduled thing, but kind of, we can say.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna
Thank
see
you.
you guys not next Monday,
Yes.
next Monday.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna close it. You can get some rest. Sanjay. Thank you, guys. Happy holiday.
Thank you.
You too. Have fun.
Recording stopped.